Over 20 years ago, the Jurassic Park franchise made one of the most controversial decisions in all of filmmaking history. Jurassic Park 3 was supposed to introduce a new dinosaur who would rival the mighty T-Rex. And in doing so, the creators knew that the two alpha predators had to face off, giving us the infamous fight scene between the Spinosaurus and the T-Rex. In this fight, the franchise dinosaur star, the Tyrannosaurus Rex, came charging into the fight with the confidence and power you would expect. But in a matter of seconds, the most famous dinosaur ever was killed. The fight itself wasn't all that horrible. Most animal-hostile interactions are over in seconds, but that didn't stop dinosaur and Jurassic fans from raising hell about the battle. To this day, people still argue over this fight, and fans still hate Jurassic Park 3 mostly for this one quick scene. Mostly.
Alan!
There is an entire war going on between T-Rex and Spinosaurus fans, arguing over which creature should have won or how the battle would have played out in real life. No matter what either side says, the argument still lives on to this day. But speaking of the paleo world, realistically, if these two animals did fight, it is very much likely that the T-Rex would have won, due to more and more discoveries about the Spinosaurus claiming that the creature wasn't much of a fighter even with its massive size. Simply put, the real-life Rex was just better suited for combat, while the Spinosaurus was primarily an aquatic hunter and fisherman. However, the lasting effects of this battle have rippled through the Jurassic franchise. And time again, you see how the film creators were terrified to even mention the Spinosaurus once again in any of the Jurassic World movies. But then came Camp Cretaceous. In this video, we will be going over some massive spoilers for Season 5 of the series, so be prepared. The Spinosaurus, which is pretty much confirmed to be the same one from Jurassic Park 3, once again battled a Rex. The outcome of this fight will be discussed, so let's not waste any more time, let's get to it. To familiarize some of you with this series, Camp Cretaceous recently introduced two new Tyrannosaurs into the franchise. A mother-daughter duo called Big and Little Edie for obvious reasons. These two had been developing a semi-personal relationship with the human characters in the series, and while they were always dangerous, they slowly warmed up to the humans who were treating them fairly in the story. The Spinosaurus was also introduced in a prior season and continued its reign of terror, still having a personality like an 80s slasher film villain. Near the end of Season 5, the inevitable rematch between these dinosaurs finally occurred. The battle instantly starts off more evenly, as instead of going down in just a few seconds, Big Edie gives the larger Spinosaurus a true challenge. She holds her own in the water, the Spinosaurus' home field, and manages to fend off other attacks from separate creatures who were part of the big battle royale. In the end though, the Spinosaurus still comes out on top. Big Edie goes down, in a way eerily similar to how the Rex from Jurassic Park 3 died. But this time, the Rex's neck was not broken. We can assume she passed out due to lack of air perhaps, or the Spinosaurus hit a nerve. Hell, apparently Rexes pass out really quick in this franchise these days. But regardless, the Tyrannosaurus Rex lost the fight again, to the same dinosaur everyone hated for killing the last Rex on screen. Now, the Spinosaurus was stopped before killing the Rex due to a chip that was implanted in its body, which allowed a human with a controller to be able to manipulate the dinosaur like they were driving an old RC car, so they dodged a bullet with that one there. And later on in the episode, the Rexes get their revenge as both Big and Little Edie join forces to attack the Spinal at once and run it off, redeeming themselves a bit as alpha predators. But they still needed a 2 versus 1 scenario for this to happen. So this brings us to the question, why did the Rex lose again? To explain this, I have 3 reasons why. First off, the obvious reason all boils down to the story. Jurassic World's creators seem to love making the T-Rex be this sort of comeback kid-like character, who always has to have this big redemption arc, losing the first encounter or part of the fight, to then just spring to life like a WWE wrestler, usually with some help of a friend, and triumphantly have the comeback win. And Camp C was no different here. It's an odd choice for the world's most famous dinosaur to have it always being defeated unless it gets the help from someone else. But at the end of the day, the only reason why the Rex lost was because the story writer put it on paper, expecting it to wow the audiences. I think it's a bit of an overused trope these days, but I'm a sucker for heroics and I still enjoyed it. But I hope they stop this trend in any future installments in the franchise. The T-Rex needs to win, man. Straight up win. The second reason why the Rex lost to the Spino boils down to experience in combat. This is more than likely the same Spinosaurus from JP3, so it knew how to take a Rex down. And in the lore for the Jurassic franchise, it's said that the Spinosaurus really enjoyed hunting down T-Rexes. So in the fight, if you pay close attention, you can see the Spinosaurus attempting to set up the same neck attack that it used to kill the other Rex, using all its skills and knowledge to force the Rex into leaving its neck unguarded. Now Big Edie is much more capable than the Rex that died in Jurassic Park 3, but in the end, the Spinosaurus' skills definitely outmatched her own in combat. To me, this was both a great little addition and a confusing scenario. Because if the Spinosaurus was being controlled by a human who had no prior knowledge of the other fight from Jurassic Park 3, then how would they know how to set up the infamous neck chomp? It appears like the showrunners definitely were mixed here, as it seemed like they wanted to pay homage to that first infamous fight showing the Spino as a skilled warrior, but in the story for Camp C that they set up, it just didn't make sense for it to play out like that. Anyways, let's get to the final reason. The Spinosaurus, at least the Jurassic franchise version, is vastly better suited for combat than the Rex. Coming in with a height and weight advantage, a much longer jaw that has a wider range of impact when chomping, a giant sail on its back, which prevents the Rex from getting a clean bite on the creature's back. And most importantly, those highly effective and useful arms that are massive and well built for all forms of combat. Much like a human's arms, the Spinosaurus' arms are crucial weapons in fighting, and against an opponent like a Rex, who has arms of little use in combat and loves to charge head straight into battle, these things are deadly. No matter how mighty the Rex bite force is and how thick its skull was, the ability for the Jurassic franchise Spinosaurus to use its arms to grip and hold, while the jaws did the dirty work, will always allow it to come out on top in a 1v1 scenario with a T-Rex. Once again everyone, not the paleo-accurate versions of their real-life animals, I mean the ones from the movies here. In the end, the Spinosaurus will probably never lose to the Rex in this franchise, and that's probably why the writers always have the beast being run off rather than being killed on screen. But what do you think, residents? Let us know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video and you want more Jurassic content like this, you know what to do. Chomp that subscribe button, hit the bell, and do all that YouTube stuff to make sure the algorithm gets this video fired up and out to more Jurassic Park fans. And Jurassic World, I guess. Everyone, this has been Jacob, and I will see you in the next one.